Shamima Begum, the young woman who fled London at 15 to become a jihadi bride in Syria, has nowhere to go. The mother of a newborn baby boy is desperate to return to the UK, but her unrepentant attitude and plea for sympathy has caused much mirth and outrage among the British public. But the journalist who first tracked her down in a Syrian refugee camp, and remains one of the few Westerners to speak to her face-to-face since her sensational departure 4 years ago, says there's hope for her if she returns. Nowhere to go. Under the 1981 British Nationality Act, it is only possible to strip someone of their UK nationality if they are eligible for citizenship elsewhere. The Home Office in London has revoked Begum's British citizenship, and it was believed the young woman had Bangladeshi citizenship through her mother. But the Bangladeshi Foreign Ministry said the matter has nothing to do with them. With extremely limited options, the Bethnal Green teenager says she is now hoping to gain citizenship in Holland via her husband, 26-year-old Dutch jihadi Yago Riedijk. If her attempt to move to Europe fails, she may have to remain indefinitely in the Syrian camp. The British public largely supports the country's decision to revoke her citizenship, with the teen's recent unapologetic BBC interview sparking widespread fury. As we know from her unrepentant interviews, she feels she has done nothing wrong, displays a breathtaking sense of entitlement when demanding our sympathy, and, most heinously of all, feels that the Manchester terror attack was fair justification for the women and children killed in the Islamic State, wrote Sun columnist Jane Moore. So, as this tougher, stronger, adult she now is, she must be treated as such and left where she is. Notorious Daily Mail columnist Piers Morgan wrote, "Don't let these women wedded to terror come home. They made their ISIS husbands beds, now let them rot in hell in them." A similar editorial in the UK's Daily Telegraph read, "It is hard to see why Britain should lift a finger for Ms. Begum, who has demonstrated not an ounce of contrition for her crimes and who has by all accounts been left hardened by living willingly among extremists and murderers." In line with furious British public sentiment, it concludes, whether she can be prevented from coming back or not, she should receive no sympathy from the British justice system. But veteran war correspondent Anthony Lloyd, who earlier this month tracked the jihadi bride down living in a Syrian refugee camp, said she was not beyond repair and deserved a shot at rehabilitation, an ideal candidate for de-radicalization. Writing in the Times today, Lloyd argued everything about Begum's attitude, her lack of remorse and regret, her refusal to apologize, are typical of an indoctrinated Islamic State member. Based on his interview with the young woman, he said she'd show traits suggesting she would be an ideal candidate for a de-radicalization program. He noted she admitted there was hypocrisy, cruelty and oppression within his, saying she was scared, confused, and really naive, remarks he says are extraordinary for his devotee to make, and may suggest beyond the radicalization sits an independent woman who may be rehabilitated with the right help. We would do well to realize that victory against ISIS will be measured in no small part by our ability to have the confidence in our own legal system and values in dealing with British citizens who joined the jihadists." He writes, "If our institutions and sense of worth cannot deal fairly and appropriately with a runaway schoolgirl from Bethnal Green, who may well be more deserving of rescue and rehabilitation than hatred and condemnation, then we will indeed have become a very little England." In an interview with GQ following his return from Syria, Lloyd suggested he was at odds with the public sentiment towards her. "I don't understand how people can't get their head around the fact that this is someone who was a 15-year-old London schoolgirl," he told the magazine. "Yes, she is a radicalized jihadi bride, but she was a 15-year-old schoolgirl when she went there, yes. She is in shock, she is in grief, and she has just come off the battlefield. Yes, she has made some crass statements, but people do make crass statements at times such as this." He stressed that the teenager was still indoctrinated, and has considerably more doubt and reserve over Islamic State than people are willing to listen to hear. Lloyd also said leaving thousands of stranded foreign fighters in refugee camps could prove disastrous, suggesting there would either be a mass exodus, or they would radicalize and spread within camps, bring them home, and there are methods of monitoring in restraining these as radicals. Moment Begum learnt of her fate. Footage published by ITV has revealed the moment Begum learnt she would not be returning to the UK. In the video, she can be seen reading aloud a copy of the Home Office letter her parents received yesterday. In light of the circumstances of your daughter, the notice of the Home Secretary's decision has been served and filed today, the 19th of February, and the order removing her British citizenship has subsequently been made, the letter said. Begum urged the UK to review her case again. "I'm a bit shocked. It's a bit unjust on me and my son," she said. "I don't know what to say. I am not that shocked, but I am a bit shocked. It's a bit upsetting and frustrating. It's kind of heartbreaking to read. My family made it sound like it would be a lot easier for me to come back to the UK when I was speaking to them in Bag House. It's kind of hard to swallow. I heard that other people are being sent back to Britain, so I don't know why my case is any different to other people, or is it just because I was on the news 4 years ago?" It's not yet known how the ban will affect Begum's newborn son Jara, who is half British and half Dutch. In a BBC interview last week, the Bethnal Green teenager explained she became religious after watching videos of beheadings, and the good life provided by us. When prompted to explain why she left the UK, she said she had seen, not just beheading videos, but people in the park, you know, the good life they can provide for you. And not just the fighting videos. But yeah, the fighting videos as well, I guess, Begum explained. The teen wasn't aware children were killed in the Manchester bombing carried out by us, but said she thought it was wrong. "I do feel it is wrong that innocent people are killed. It's one thing to kill a soldier that is firing at you," she said. But Begum struggled to decry the actions of his. "It's a two-way thing really," she said. "Because women and children are being killed in the Islamic State right now.